Have you ever pondered why, in a world so connected, many of us feel alone? It's a paradox of our modern age, isn't it? We're living in an era where we can connect with anyone, anywhere, at any time. Yet, a sense of isolation creeps in, casting a long, chilly shadow on our lives. This isn't just a passing feeling. It's an epidemic of loneliness that is sweeping across societies worldwide. This epidemic isn't a silent one. Loneliness reverberates loudly in the quiet corners of our individual lives, and it echoes in the grand halls of governments too. To give you a sense of the magnitude, the United Kingdom, recognizing the profound impact of this issue, went as far as to establish a ministry of loneliness. A ministry dedicated to combating a feeling. If that doesn't underscore the gravity of the situation, what does? Now you might be wondering, why are we talking about loneliness in the context of our modern, hyper-connected world? Well, the irony is that our connectedness might be a part of the problem, especially in the post-pandemic era, where the boundaries between work and home have blurred, and many of us find ourselves working from the isolation of our homes. The typical office banter, the spontaneous coffee breaks, the shared frustrations and triumphs, these incidental interactions that were once woven into our workdays are now missing. In their absence, many of us are realizing that these seemingly mundane moments were, in fact, vital threads that kept us connected to a larger community. And that's where loneliness sneaks in. So, despite all our digital connections, the feeling of being part of a community, of sharing common goals and interests, seems to be slipping away. It's like we're surrounded by people, yet standing alone in a crowd. And that's the paradox of our times, isn't it? So it seems even in our hyper-connected world, we're more isolated than we think. What if I told you that loneliness is not just a feeling, but a condition that can harm your health? Indeed, research has demonstrated that loneliness can have a profound impact on both our mental and physical well-being. The distress we feel when our social needs are not met by our relationships can lead to a host of health problems. These range from depression and cognitive decline to cardiovascular issues. Let's put it into perspective. The health effects of loneliness can be compared to smoking 15 cigarettes a day or battling obesity. That's right. Loneliness can be as detrimental to your health as smoking or obesity. It's a silent yet potent risk factor that often goes unnoticed, undermining our health in the long run. But why does loneliness have such a profound impact on our health? Well, humans are inherently social creatures. We crave meaningful connections with others, and when those connections are lacking, it can lead to feelings of isolation and distress. This emotional strain can trigger a cascade of harmful physiological responses, including elevated blood pressure, increased production of the stress hormone cortisol, and a weakened immune system. Over time, these changes can contribute to a range of chronic health conditions, including heart disease and dementia. Moreover, loneliness can also take a toll on our mental health. The absence of social interaction can lead to feelings of sadness and despair, increasing the risk of depression. It can also impair our cognitive function, leading to problems with memory and attention. As we navigate through the era of remote work and social distancing, it's crucial to acknowledge the health impacts of loneliness. While working from home might offer flexibility and convenience, it also poses challenges for maintaining social connections. The line between work and home blurs, and the organic networking and mentoring that help us grow professionally and personally can become elusive. So it's important to actively seek out social interactions, even if they're virtual. Engage in spontaneous social contact. Resist the allure of rugged individualism. Remember, we're social animals, and our health depends on our relationships with others. The silent epidemic of loneliness, it seems, is a heartbreaker and a life-taker. Is our technology use designed to connect us actually isolating us? This is the paradox we find ourselves in as we delve deeper into the digital age. With unprecedented access to information, entertainment, and social connections, we're ironically spending more time alone. And it's not just a few of us, it's an alarming trend across generations. More than half of Americans spend the majority of their time online. The numbers rise with each younger generation. 40% of boomers, 56% of Gen X, 64% of millennials, and a whopping 73% of Gen Z. Nearly half of the survey respondents admitted to spending more time in front of a screen than engaging in in-person activities, and a significant portion spends 8 or more hours a day on devices. Now, don't get me wrong, digital connections are essential. They're a lifeline for many, especially in a world where remote work and online interactions have become the norm. But they're not a perfect substitute for face-to-face, in-person contact. We are, after all, social animals. But what happens when the balance tips too far towards screen time? Well, according to an experimental study, limiting social media use significantly decreases feelings of loneliness and depression. It's a stark reminder that while technology offers us a world of connections at our fingertips, it can also contribute to feelings of isolation and loneliness when not balanced with real, in-person interactions. So, how do we navigate this digital landscape without losing sight of our inherent need for human connection? It's about finding balance. It's about understanding that while our screens can offer a form of connection, they can't replace the depth and richness of in-person interactions. In essence, the technology that was designed to bring us closer together can, if not used mindfully, drive us further apart. So the screens that promise connection might be delivering disconnection. How do we combat the loneliness epidemic? This question is perhaps the most important one we face in our increasingly isolated world. There are no easy answers, but there are steps we can take to move in the right direction. Firstly, don't wait to socialize. We often set certain goals as prerequisites for spending time with others. Maybe we think we need to lose weight, be less stressed, or feel happier before we can connect with others. But the truth is, there is no perfect time to socialize. We don't need to have a new set of clothes or have met our New Year's resolutions to be in shape to have in-person time with others. Don't let shame, embarrassment, or depression fuel your procrastination on being with others. Secondly, seek out moments of spontaneous social contact. Engage with strangers, acquaintances, and friends alike. Each interaction, no matter how small, can make us feel better. It can give us a sense of belonging, provide us with useful information, and sharpen our social skills for future interactions. Thirdly, don't let the concept of rugged individualism fool you. We are social animals, and we thrive on connection. While independence is important, it shouldn't come at the cost of our social health. It's okay to need others, and it's okay to seek out their company. Remember, connecting with others doesn't have to mean grand gestures or big events. It could be as simple as a quick chat with a neighbor, a phone call to a friend, or even a kind word to a stranger. And finally, consider reducing your social media use. While these platforms can provide a sense of connection, they can also make us feel more isolated. They often present an idealized version of life that can make ours seem lacking in comparison. Real-time conversations with people around us can offer a more authentic and fulfilling sense of connection. Breaking free from loneliness isn't easy, but it's worth the effort. Every step we take towards connection and community is a step away from isolation and despair. After all, we are all in this together, and no one should have to face the world alone. Perhaps the cure to loneliness lies in the simple act of reaching out. Are we forgetting the value of community in our work-from-home world? In our increasingly individualized society, we've seen the rise of new work arrangements that often leave us secluded. With the advent of remote work, we're no longer confined to the office cubicle. But while this shift brings a certain level of freedom, it also strips away the organic networking and mentoring that often foster career development. But here's the thing, we're social creatures by nature. We thrive on interaction, on the exchange of ideas, on shared laughter over a cup of coffee. And it's this sense of community that we're missing when we're holed up in our home offices, detached from the rest of the world. So how can we build a community outside the traditional workplace? It all starts with intentionality. We need to actively seek out social interactions, to make an effort to connect with others. This could be through joining online forums, participating in hobby clubs, or even just striking up a conversation with a neighbor. And then there's the power of shared interests and common goals. When we find people who are passionate about the same things we are, it sparks a sense of camaraderie, of belonging. This could be a book club, a running group, or a volunteer organization. The key is to find something that resonates with you, something that ignites your passion. Remember, community isn't just about having people around. It's about feeling connected, feeling understood, feeling valued. It's about knowing that you're part of something bigger, something meaningful. It's about the shared experiences, the shared memories, the shared dreams. So let's not underestimate the power of community. Let's not allow our digital screens to replace our human connections. Let's make an effort to reach out, to engage, to connect. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. A sense of community is not just a nice to have, it's a must-have in our fight against loneliness.